The talk of the day, the hullabaloo of the day seems to be around the Irish Tricolour. As we know, Dublin City Council are not very happy. There's been pressure applied to them apparently by concerned residents that tricolours are popping up left, right and centre, and the residents are upset about it. The new Garda police commissioner has been dragged into this debacle as well. The questions are being asked, will Gardaí be used to remove Irish flags from the streets? Simon Harris has weighed in on this one, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to get the input and the opinion of my sparring partner from days of yore, or at least May or June of this year, John Wilson from Cavan ex-Garda. John, how you doing?
I'm very good, Rick. Thanks.
I'll take it you've been following the developments in this one too, probably clenching your teeth and chewing on a stick to keep yourself from swallowing your tongue in this one.
I'm trying to remain as calm as possible, but it's not very easy.
No, it's not. It's not. I find it strange the way there's such a focus on this at this point in time. I want to kick us off here by playing a quick video clip. This is Simon Harris, who probably is the least person that you want on least when it comes to PR on a certain topic, but the wheeled Harris out. Maybe this is intentional, John. Maybe this is because he antagonizes the hell out of everybody that he speaks to on any given topic. But this is him last night talking about as passionately as I've seen him. The hell that they're going to reclaim the tricolour of us, referring, of course, to the mythical far right. But let's have a look at Simon and we'll see what he has to say, and you can give me your thoughts.
We saw our flag hijacked by one group for many years. We're sure as hell not going to allow the far right now hijack our flag. The tricolour should never be hijacked or used to represent something that is against what this republic stands for. There's very clear rules around how you properly, respectfully hang our flag. We should see more flags. Welcome more flags. We made a lot of progress during the time when we were commemorating centenaries with a number of commemorations and bringing tricolours to every school. There's a tricolour, the second tricolour now flies at government buildings, and we're very proud of our flag. We saw our flag hijacked.
So there you go. We've saw our flag hijacked in the past. We don't want the far right to hijack it. Our flag will not be hijacked. Do you get the feeling the speechwriter wanted to make sure he used the word hijacked repeatedly here?
He also used the term, sure as hell. He must be auditioning for the new Dirty Harry, a new Dirty Harry movie. He'd look well as Harry Callahan,
Dirty Simon. Dirty Simon does have a ring to it.
It actually does, yeah. Well, first of all, he was reading from a script.
Mm-hmm.
That man is not capable of independent thought. He was given that script to read. He was given that script to read. In the same way, an actor could be a superhero today and could be the rear end of a pantomime horse come Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he's an idiot. And in fairness, maybe that's an insult to read, to decent idiots around the world. I mean, he is an imbecile.
Yeah, I think he's an evil man, to be honest with you. He even talked about there. I think he mentioned that he was proud of the fact that there were two tricolours flying in some places here. But this whole business about hijacking the flag, if something belongs to everyone, allegedly it's everyone's flag, it belongs to everyone, it belongs to neither one group nor the left. Well, how then is it possible for someone to hijack something that belongs to everybody? Like if I hijack your car, for example, right, it means it's yours to begin with, it's not mine, and I forcibly take it away from you. I have hijacked it. But if it's a communal car, if it's, okay, Rick, this car belongs to both you and John, and you happen to find me behind the wheel some morning driving off down the road, have I hijacked the car, or am I simply taking something that is allegedly mine as well as yours?
I have a clear message for Mr. Harris and the Garda Commissioner and the Minister for Justice and the rest of our government, the rest of our elites, political elites. An Garda Síochána has policed with the consent of the Irish people since its foundation in 1922. As An Garda Síochána drifts towards becoming a paramilitary police force, it is important to remember that this consent is not absolute. End of message. The tricolour belongs to the Irish people. Now, I don't see how putting a tricolour on top of a street light is a symbol of the mythical far right. These people are absolutely intent on destroying They are focused on destroying Ireland. They are focused on destroying the Irish race. We are losing our country in real time. And to have this imbecile come out and criticize people for flying our national flag, I doubt whether Harris even knows anything about the proclamation of, the Irish proclamation. I doubt if Simon Harris could find, until very recently, could find Northern Ireland on a map. And here he is now being Mr. Billy Big Balls talking about how the Irish flag. No.
I can remember one night you were asked to speak at one of the public rallies down in Carrickmacross. And you got up and very succinctly and very directly described what the actual flag was all about. Now, there'll be people listening to this conversation from outside of Ireland. There'll be people listening from Europe and America and whatnot. So obviously flags, every country has a flag, and there's some kind of meaning or symbolism behind every country's flag. So to hear these conversations, you would think, well, is there something sinister about the flag, that the mythical far right are trying to hijack it? Is there some kind of secret power in that flag? What's the big hullabaloo all about? Explain the way you did in very direct and simple terms. What is that flag about? What does it actually represent to Ireland?
Thomas Francis Meagher went over to France. He was a young Irelander. He went over to visit France, and he met some ladies over there that were very sympathetic to the Irish nationalist cause, and they gifted him the first ever tricolour. The green was to represent the nationalists. The orange was to represent the Protestant people, the orange was to represent the Protestant people, and the white in the middle then was to represent, the unity between the two of them. Green for nationalism, orange for the orange tradition, and the white then
peace and tranquility, somewhere in between. Yeah,
was to and does represent the peace between them. Yeah, that's quite simply. But Harris, I mean, he's forgotten about Baby Harvey very quickly, hasn't he? Baby Harvey that died very, very recently. That died because of his incompetence and the incompetence of our traitorous government.
And he still hasn't met, by the way. There was a child, again, for people listening outside of Ireland, there was a young boy who lived a life of pain and suffering as a result of scoliosis. And under Harris' watch, he made a promise many years ago that no child should be waiting more than X amount of time for scoliosis surgery. And months turned into years, and that boy died recently as a complication of scoliosis and possibly some other things. Harris at that point still hadn't even spoke to the parents of the child. He claimed that would be forthcoming, and I believe we're over 3 weeks after that promise was made, or that pledge, if you want to call it a pledge, was made, and to this date he still hasn't done it. But he's able to speak out on behalf of rugby teams and what's going on in Palestine and what's going on in Ukraine, and he was visiting fishermen in Donegal not so long ago either, as well, talking to the local fishermen up in Donegal. He took a day trip up to do that. He went to see Oasis in Croke Park. He's been everywhere, John, apart from to visit the parents of this child. I mean, how could he ever show his face to those people, really?
When I spoke in Athlone recently, I said that I've been speaking to a medical professional, and I asked the medical professional to describe the pain that these little children are suffering. And he described it as hellish pain. He said that they are suffering, that the pain is hellish. And Harris and his ilk, they don't care. They just don't give a damn. And there was a protest organised in memory, to highlight what happened to poor Harvey, and in his memory. And I don't know how many turned up, but I wouldn't imagine now there were tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people at that protest march. Unfortunately, Harris is operating, and the rest of our traitorous politicians are operating in the knowledge that the majority of Irish people really are just, they're cowed down, and they really don't give a damn. They're not prepared to get up and get out and stand on the streets and be counted. That's the reality. I saw him at the Oasis, after the Oasis. I saw a picture of him at the Oasis concert, and he was wearing a kind of a hat.
Bucket hat. Yeah, bucket
Like, I
hat.
mean, he looked like Frank Spencer, but that, that would be an insult to Frank
I know.
Spencer, to the
I
character
know.
Frank Spencer. He's an idiot.
He is, but and that's worth covering as well. By the way, the business about that child, the fact that he still hasn't seen the parents. But well, I mean, like he has a brass neck on him, but I'm sure he would not be relishing the thought of sitting in front of that mother and father at the end of all this, after that legacy of broken promises, and ultimately resulting in the death of that child who was long overdue surgery. When the child finally did get it, it was too late. At that point, the damage had already been done. So he's now, we're talking about him in relation to the flags here. We saw that little clip. There's a new Garda commissioner in here, and again, that's why I wanted to get your views on this one here this morning. So obviously you spent 30 odd years as a guard, had a very good career as a guard there, and obviously you're fully aware of the operations of that organization, how they have operated, how they're currently operating, how they may operate under this new commissioner. But he has also been dragged into this flag debacle, courtesy of Dublin City Council. And yesterday, I think it was, he was questioned about whether or not members of An Garda Síochána would be used to be taken off operational duties effectively and go up the ladders, up lampposts effectively, and remove tricolors. So I want to just play a quick clip here where he speaks about whether or not they will be involved. He was careful not to get dragged too closely into it, but he also wasn't very committal to say, we're not doing it, end of story. It's not our job to do that. Okay, that's not a Garda policing issue, but you can hear what he says here. So let's have a listen to him being questioned by Gript.
Media, we read that there.
Oh, let me get this one. Take that one off. Put this one on.
Dublin City Council, who say they want to engage with An Garda Síochána about the phenomenon of Irish Tricolours appearing on telephone poles and things like that around the city. Can you guarantee that taking down Irish Tricolours is not something that An Garda Síochána is going to be using police resources on?
Yeah, so look, I obviously read all the media reports myself in the last few days. And as you correctly say, Dublin City Council have looked to meet us. So the Assistant Commissioner for Dublin, Paul Cleary, and some of his team will be meeting the council. I think it's in a couple of weeks. So obviously we'll have to wait and see what the request is from Dublin City Council. So I think until I hear back from Paul and his team about what we're asked to do. But look, I mean, the bottom line, not just with this issue, but with everything, I mean, we enforce the criminal law. So if there's criminal offences, that's our job to do. It would seem for me, on the face of it, would seem to me that's a matter for Dublin City Council. But
let me stop it right there. So, okay, he's coming out here. He's being a little bit, cagey. He doesn't want to commit one way or the other. And he's saying there, you've heard him just say there, this is if it's a criminal issue, then of course we have to get involved because we're the guardians of the peace. But what he's saying is it seems like an issue for Dublin City Council. Well, if that's the case, why is he even meeting them anyway? Why doesn't he just get on the phone and say, listen, it's not, if it's a criminal issue, we'll sit and talk to you about this. We're stretched enough as it is. If it's not a criminal issue, we will not be getting involved in it. Why not just come out and say that?
He hasn't instilled much confidence in me yet. We have to remember, Rick, that An Garda Síochána is infested with the woke mind virus. Diversity, equity, and inclusion have infested An Garda Síochána. That's the sad reality. He's waiting for his orders, for his instructions. And I mean, if you were to ask me this question 5 years ago, I would have said, Rick, what are you talking about? I mean, a guard going up a ladder to take down an Irish Tricolour. I mean, no way. That's insane. That's an insane suggestion. Today, nothing would surprise me. Is that
not another measure? Effectively, if you want to use it as a yardstick of how much more we're sliding, the fact that even to have entertained this as a concept even 5 years ago would have been absolutely ludicrous. But here we are in September of 2025, where this guy is not ruling it out that there could be guards up ladders pulling down tricolours in lampposts in Dublin.
There's a bigger chance of seeing. There's a bigger chance now of seeing a guard up a ladder pulling down an Irish tricolour than there is of seeing a guard taking down a Palestinian flag. And I don't know if your viewers will remember what happened in Coolock there was a video footage of a female guard stamping, walking on
right.
an Irish tricolour. We're in uncharted territory here, and I will go so far as to say we're in very dangerous territory, because it might not be very good for the health of a Dublin City Council employee or for a member from Garda Síochána to be caught pulling down an Irish tricolour.
That's the thing. Let's hear. There's another 30 odd seconds here of what he says. So I just thought I'd break it there when he effectively said himself, if it's a criminal issue, yes, we'll deal with it. But it would appear to me it's a Dublin City Council issue. It's nothing to do with us. So don't get involved. But let's hear what he says.
Like I say, I don't want to preempt that. I mean, they've looked to meet on Garda Síochána, so we'll see what comes out of that meeting. So maybe the next time I meet you, I mean, we might have more information.
But depending on what they request, like, could you guarantee that there will not be members of Garda Síochána going around taking down Irish tricolours around the city from poles, and that's not something that Garda Síochána would dedicate police resources to?
Look. I mean, I think to be fair, I mean, this is only an issue that's really broken on my radar actually since yesterday. So look, I'll have to wait and see how the meeting goes to see what comes back from that.
So there's a possibility that.
No, I'm not saying that at all. And look, I'm not.
I know what
I'm
you mean.
not going to sit here and give you a guarantee of yes or no. I don't think that's a fair position to try and put me in. I mean, we've been asked for a meeting around it. We'll see how the meeting goes. But look, absolutely, I'll be willing to talk to you. I mean, if you want to obviously come back to us after that, we'll have a better position.
So I know what you mean. I can translate what he just said. He's meeting the senior Gardaí are going to meet up with the officials from Dublin Woke City Council. And what's going to happen is the Gardaí are going to accompany the Dublin City Council employees as they go around pulling down the tricolours. That's what he means. But they're going to provide the security to the Dublin City Council employees while they pull down Irish tricolours. That's exactly what he means now. That's exactly what he means.
You know, there's a lot, psychologists will tell you that 80% of someone's opinion on you, for example, will be formed in the first 30 seconds of meeting you. How you dress, how you carry yourself, your tone of voice, your body language, everything. And that's universal. That applies, you know, when you meet someone for the first time, the very, very first time, inside, you're kind of weighing them up. You're looking them up and down. You're getting a gauge of them. You'll come to a reasonably accurate conclusion about what that person's about based on how they carry themselves. And obviously, I don't know anything about this guy. All I know is I believe he's came up through the ranks of Garda Síochána.
Okay.
But he doesn't strike me as someone who's authoritative. He doesn't strike me as someone that's overly confident. And again, I don't know, he could be a lion inside. But my analogy is we used to have a supply teacher that came and taught us in secondary school. Okay. And he was, when he came, we knew we were going to have fun with him. You know what I mean? As young teenage adolescent hooligans, because there was no resistance in him. He was a complete push. And you could tell from the moment he walked in the door, you were going to be able to get one over on him. That we had other teachers in school you knew not to mess with, not because they were big, but just the way they carried themselves, their tone, their etc. That guy sort of half slumped over that desk, being completely non-committal with kind of a monotone delivery there. It doesn't really instill a lot of confidence in me at this point, but maybe it's early doors. What do you think?
On a personal basis, he's meant to be a very, very decent individual.
Yeah.
A very, very competent man. But listen, he can talk all day. He's going to be judged by his actions, not by his words.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
But he seemed to be very unsure of himself there during that interview. He didn't come across as being super confident, which is kind of concerning when he holds the rank of commissioner of our national police force.
Yeah.
Time will tell, Rick. But I mean, on a personal basis, I understand he's a very decent individual. That's all I know of the man, you know.
And the same could be said about my geography supply teacher. I'm sure he was a lovely man, but when you put him into the Land's Den, and let's face it, this guy effectively supposed to be at the coalface here of Irish policing at a point in time whereby tensions are very, very high in very, very many areas, the length, breadth, and depth of Ireland. You know, it's not the place for, how would you say, a nice guy, a very nice man. You know, that's nice. I know lots of nice people, but I wouldn't want them fronting up an organization if I wanted to get hard results and take hard stances and things. If that makes sense. I'm not trying to rag on the guy. All I'm saying to you is it doesn't exactly, listening to him and watching him there as he's, dancing, he's trying to do the slow waltz with regards to the issue of the flags. You should just say, listen, if it's a criminal offence, we're going to deal with it. If it's not a criminal offence, it's up to Dublin City Council. Next question. Should that not have been the response?
Correct. Well, he should have said taking down flags is not a Garda matter. It's nothing got to do with nothing got to do with Garda Síochána. But I know exactly what they're doing, as I alluded to earlier. They're going to use the guards as security. The Dublin City Council are going to use the guards to provide security while they pull down Irish Tricolours from lampposts. That's what they're going to do. Maybe he should recruit Dirty Simon. Go ahead, make my day, Harris. Listen, I was talking to a guard recently who retired, and he couldn't wait to get out. He told me that the caliber of what's joined the organisation over the last 10 years or so, he said, is shocking. He didn't use the word appalling. He used the word shocking. He said they are more interested in their feelings than they are in catching criminals. That's how he put it. So listen, it's very, very obvious that Garda Síochána of 2025 is not the same as Garda Síochána of 1998 or 1982 when I joined. It's totally different. Again, listen, he'll be judged by his actions, not by his words.
Well, I think we're not going to have to wait too long before we find out about this, because obviously this is making the news. It's everywhere. Everybody and their dog are discussing this issue at the minute, and obviously he's got pulled into it. He should hold the guard. He should hold the Gardaí that attacked the people in Newtown and Kennedy, and the Gardaí that engaged in thuggery in Coolock. He should hold them to account now, first of all. And find out who it was trampled the tricolour into the ground in the first place.
There's
never been any disciplinary done about that. There's no problem going up a lamppost to take it down in an area, in a nationalist area, but stamping it on the ground during a public unrest, there doesn't seem to be any issue with that one at all.
I mean, Irish government policy is you can fly any flag. You can fly the Hamas flag. You can fly the Pride flag or the Progress Pride flag, but do not fly the tricolour. Do not fly the Irish national flag. That seems to be the message. That's been echoed very loud and very clear. That's emanating very loudly and very clearly from Leinster House.
Well, we'll see how far it echoes at the minute, because there'll be no doubt, Dublin City Council will be pushing to get the guards involved in this. And I believe what you said was on the money in respect to, I can't see them going up the ladders, but what they'll say is the contractors feel endangered, or the council workers feel endangered by the mythical far right, so therefore they have to have a Garda presence there, much the same way as we saw them, for example, lining the streets of Carrickmacross or Cork as women, children, old men and old women walked peacefully down the street with multiple public order units keeping an eye on them for effectively no real reason at all. So we'll keep an eye on this one anyway. I just wanted to get your views on this because it is a hot topic at the minute, and obviously now
and it's going to get hotter. I mean, if they start pulling down tricolours, this topic is going to get a lot hotter.
It will get white hot. It will go from red hot to white hot, and we shall keep an eye on it. As always, massive thanks to you for hopping on this morning, John. I just wanted to get your input on this one in particular. Share this video, share it far and wide. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That's John Wilson. I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.